Good evening, Grid Vision, and welcome to the Spartan Sim Racing League Truck Series Monday Night Race live from the Virtual Auto Club Speedway. I'm Joe LaCastro, joined by Sheldon Atkins in the booth today and in the truck by Austin Derbyshire, and we're coming to you live from the coast with a lovely race from a lovely track. This is a now defunct raceway, but we're still keeping it alive. The spirit of Auto Club lives on Grid Vision tonight. How you doing, Sheldon?
Pretty good. Excited to cover one of my favorite tracks on the circuit to run around. Pretty difficult track we have on tap here. A lot of understeer on corner entry, a lot of slide coming up off the corner. Very abrasive. Going to put these drivers to the limit in regards to how well they can manage their equipment throughout a long run. And on top of that, you got multiple grooves. You can run all the way down next to the apron, or you can stick it up on the fence, try to make momentum down the straightaway and try to fly away. So there's so many different options, so many different opportunities, and so many different ways you can also get yourself in trouble here. So really excited to cover this one.
Well, you've already been rolling into the keys to the race. Why don't you go ahead and just give us the top 3 keys to tonight's race?
Well, I think I might. I think I might. We're going to start out right here. The most important thing that I've found at Auto Club throughout the years is to keep that right front cool. It's good to have a truck that kind of builds loose. Use that coming off. Try to back up them corners a little bit so you can keep that right front cool, because as soon as you get tight here, it's basically over. You're going to be sliding up towards that wall and begging and praying for a caution to come out to throw on 4 fresh Goodyears if you don't keep that right front cool. After that, go where others will not. This track, multiple different opportunities to set up passes and set up lines to kind of use the geometry of the track to work in your favor. Try to use alternate lines to stay out of that dirty air and keep that car, handling as best as you possibly can. And then last but not least, I can't think of a single race in this track's history where it didn't come down to fuel mileage. You're going to be saving fuel pretty much from the moment you start the engines here on pit road until you get to that checkered flag.
Okay, and the picks for tonight's race, I have had this pick most of this season. I am going to go yet again tonight with Kyle Westwood. I want to see that 92 cross the finish line in first place.
And I got to go with, I liked what I saw of this guy last week. I go with Blair Holloman, that 32 machine. I feel like there's a lot of things that you utilize when it comes to line and how to drive the truck at Kentucky. I feel like a lot of that stuff can translate here to Auto Club, and I feel like he's going to be pretty fast tonight. A little bit further back in the pack starting, but I think he'll get up there.
And over in the production truck, Darby, your prediction is the 69 machine of, who is that? That is Kevin Martin. K-Mart.
The Blue Light Special.
All right, yes, sir. Very, very good. And so tonight we'll see all of them on the racetrack. We'll see how they all do. Hopefully they don't get the old Grid Vision curse. Let's go ahead and do the grid, though. First things first, starting off in the pole position, Scott Healy. And then on the outside, Benjamin Stevens. Third place, Victor Pfluger. Fourth, it'll be Jason Kratke. Fifth, Kyle Westwood. Sixth, Keith Snyder. Seventh, Gary Donnellan. Eighth, James Staples. 9th, Blair Holloman, and 10th, Jordan Sailors.
Starting in 11th place, got the 80 machine of Drew Prohl, followed by Corey Moore in 12th. 13th is going to be Brandon Barrier with Scott Schroeder in 14th. 15th place, going to be Colton Gardner, followed by Ryan Jalek in 16th. 17th is going to be Christopher Fuge, followed by Dave Hughes Jr. in 18th. 19th is going to be Hunter Hughes, and running out your top 20 is going to be Sean Stevens.
21, Gabriel Andy. 22, Evan Ethel. 23, Logan Doyle. 24, Art Nicotera. 25, Patrick Stein. 26 on the outside, Charles Abert. 27, Joseph Tucker. 28, Kevin Martin. 29, Frederick Seagraves. And 30, Todd Parent.
In 31st, we got JP Jones, followed by Brian Britt in 32nd. 33rd is going to be Phoenix winner Andrew Koska, followed by Tom Ringer in 34th. And then rounding out your 36-car field is going to be Chad Gunningsman, not taking a time, with Jay Salmon in 36th.
All right, Chad Gunningsman, our current points leader, not taking a time, sitting a little far back in the field, setting himself apart with the situation that he's in right now. He's not really having to work that hard, so maybe he's holding back, hoping to avoid early stack-up or maybe something along those lines.
Yeah, not too sure. Auto Club, not necessarily a track where you really want to do the back-to-front challenge. I mean, it's a blast when you can get to work, but there's so many variables at play when you factor in how hard it can be to pass at times, as well as the chaos that tends to happen here early race when people are really trying to get after it.
Let's see. Do you think it's going to be a situation where they'll keep that 2 wide, or they'll push for even 3 wide early on?
No, absolutely. And also going back to my final key of the race today, already on the front row, Scott Healy kicking the clutch in, turning the motor off, trying to save as much fuel as he can before we even get to the green flag here.
All right. Getting things ready. The lights are off. Obviously, we're going to be going very, very soon here at Auto Club. Beautiful day for a race. The sun looks like it's just turning down, getting ready to set, I think. There we go. The pace car is off. Green flag is go, and we are go, go, go on Grid Vision. Ready to cross the line at the end of the first lap. Scott Healy is holding on to the lead with just the skin of his teeth. Ben Stevens right behind him as Jason Kratke goes down to the line, and they start to string things out here with the first 5 places.
Good clean opening lap for these guys. No real chaotic moments. Everybody giving each other plenty of room, utilizing each one of the multiple lanes that we have here at Auto Club. It's such a beautiful sight watching them rifle off into the corners here, 3 and 4 wide, and just being able to make it stick and make it work. So much easier to do at the start of the run, but it's really going to get tricky as we get later on.
And just as we're talking about it right now, 2 wide situation up here at the front. Ben Stevens on the inside, Jason Kratke on the outside, able to get a half a car length on him now. Looks like he's holding on to it. Not willing to go quite down to the line on the inside. Holding that way high outside line. Rubbing close to the wall now. Within about an inch of the wall, it was Jason Kratke.
Yeah, but you're going to see these two are going to even out here as you see a battle shaking up behind them for second, too, as the 08 machine dives way low to the inside of the 64 of Scott Healy. Scott Healy going to concede the position here into 3. Really think that Scott's on that fuel save strategy. You see him go 3 wide now. He's kind of in the sucker hole at the moment.
Yeah, Scott Healy won one of our previous races here, but he's definitely on a different strategy than the cars around him. You can see that.
And all this is going to pan out right now for Kratke. He's going to take the race lead from Ben Stevens. Stevens still trying to line up a pass on the bottom, but not able to get anything done right now. Midline momentum's really carrying that 54 machine away from the front of the pack for the time being.
And he's holding on to it a bit further down to the inside, pushing things 3 wide, goes the 32 of Blair Holloman. Holloman getting cut off now by Jordan Sailors, who dives down in, takes that spot by about a car length. On the outside, the 92 of Kyle Westwood.
Yeah, it's tight racing all throughout the field right now. Look up here, you see Heath Schneider making some moves, trying to solidify himself into position in front of the 64 machine, Scott Healy. But side by side here, too. Staples up here on the top, trying to rip the fence.
Behind them right now, you've got Holloman fighting Sailors and Westwood. Westwood getting a very close there to Sailors. But not close enough for contact, thank goodness. A lot of chatter right now going on. Sounds like maybe iRacing thought that they hit, but it really looks like there was no hard contact at all between Westwood there. It was close, for sure. Right now, he's still on the outside. Sailors pushing down on the inside, puts it 2 wide. Behind him, we got a 3 wide situation going on. That's Holloman, Scott Schroeder, and Drew Prohl. Prohl riding the wall now. Not getting any slower as a result, though.
Oh, but he's that'll catch him coming into 3, and that's going to really kill the momentum here. He's going to utilize that, though. He's going to charge back hard on that outside line and take the position away from the 74 machine of Schroeder and clear him down the front straightaway. and still looking for spots. He's going to go high on the outside of Sailors here at the start-finish line.
Almost put that car into the nose of Sailors. Let's look back up front, though, as Ben Stevens is able to push his way back into second place, taking that spot from Victor Pfluger. Pfluger on the inside, excuse me, the outside in that Stars and Stripes car. Pfluger now driving forward on the outside. He takes second place by a car. 2 wide now for third. That's James Staples and Ben Stevens. Down in first goes Jason Kratke, trying to block the move from Victor Pfluger on the inside.
Yeah, look at Staples. Every time you look up at that 24 machine, he's moving up a spot. Up from 8th place now up to 4th. Right here in line behind well, now he's up to 3rd. In line here, really the first guy to aggressively get up on that outside line, and you're seeing it pay dividends to him early. But the question is, how much would that hurt the tire longevity as we get through the run?
Staples has enough speed now to pass Victor Pfluger. He's got his car right into the tail of Jason Kratke. Down goes Pfluger. Kratke stays high. So does Staples. Kratke's been running the high line most of this race as well. Only going down a little bit when he's been blocking. Ooh.
Oh, Pfluger just about got hooked into the fence, trying to clear himself off the 24 machine of Staples. And you see how much momentum Staples lost there, having to roll out of it. But that opens up the door for Heath Schneider now to get up here into the 3rd position. You see him working the outside, trying to take 2nd away.
Schneider uncontested for 3rd, moving into the position for 2nd now. Pfluger again, unfortunately, losing a bit of position there. He's going to get back down to that white line, though. Ooh, Schneider going for 1st.
3 wide battle.
Pushing it 3 wide. Yeah, 3 wide for the lead right now. As Heath Schneider pushes it for 1st place. He's got it 2 wide high on the outside. Victor Pfluger down on the inside is about a half car behind, and he takes it.
Here comes Schneider. Now, can he do anything with the slide job here? Gonna send it deep into turn number 1, come up and clear for the lead. Heath Schneider is now your race leader here at Auto Club.
Just about had some contact there in the back. It looks like Jason Kratke says, nope, I want that right back. This time Kratke's down to the inside. Holding on tight, trying to, unable to hold on though, as Schneider takes the position right back. It's a back and forth between Schneider and Kratke here.
But look at Staples getting a huge run through 3 and 4 while these two are racing each other up front. Gonna get side by side with that 54 machine coming into turn number 1, and I think he's gonna get him clear by the time we get through 1 and 2.
Yeah, you really can't fall asleep right now on Staples, who has mastered that outside line. Kratke was up there, but he hasn't been able to master it quite as much. And now our former race leader, Kratke, is falling back. Ooh, big wiggles out
contact.
of Victor Pfluger. Definitely a little bit of a bump there from Kratke as he was falling down, going through a quick 3 wide position there. And here comes Scott Healy working his way up. Scott Healy doing his best to get there.
Yeah, don't expect Healy to be a slouch. He's been so good all year. And definitely was in a situation where he's trying to save his equipment there at the start of this run. And you see it already working in his favor as he's starting to cut his way back through here against these guys that have been charging so hard since we dropped the flag. Way down the bottom, really loose. Oh, the 64 machine just about loses it there in 1 and 2.
I see Sean Stevens now here on the replay. There it goes around. Keeping it green, though, because those two are down on the inside.
Hard hit
Sean
on that
Stevens,
inside wall.
oh, yeah. On the back of the car, but he's still not going to be able to do more than limp away from that one, unfortunately, it looks like.
Just about contact between Staples and Healy there on the front straightaway.
These 3 cars have pulled away a little bit from the pack behind them. Snyder, Staples, Healy in your top 3. Right behind them, it's a 2 wide battle for 4th between Ben Stevens and our previous race leader, Jason Kratke. It's a 2 by 2
big slide
situation.
further in the pack. Just about lost it coming out of turn number 2. Can't tell who that is.
Gabriel Ande.
One impressive save out of him there, because that thing absolutely should have been dead sideways coming up off the corner.
Yeah, I caught the tail end of the slide, but that was Gabriel holding on there now as he's getting passed up by the 80 of Drew Prohl and then the 21 of Colton Gardner. Unfortunate loss of position, but a good save of the truck. Back in front, the battle between Healy and Staples is on. Staples falling back a little bit. Healy sliding up the track, taking that spot from a little bit of a wiggle going into the back stretch, holding on to it. Staples on his bumper. Big draft.
I think Staples just did a much better job at maintaining his equipment there at the start of the stint. You're seeing how fast he is now in the later stages. Crazy to say later stages, we're only 15 laps in, but this track, it chews through Goodyear tires so fast compared to a lot of the places we go to, especially compared to last week in Kentucky.
15 laps in. We've got 15 laps in. I believe our first and only stage is at lap 34, something like that. I'll double check that in a little bit, but we've got one stage break coming up in about another half of what we've just done. So let's go ahead and see how things shape up for this stage 1 of tonight's race. There's supposed to be a comma in there. For this, stage 1 of tonight's race. There we go. Much better.
Dialed in.
You got it.
See up here at the front there, Heath Schneider not able to really gain or lose much to second place Scott Healy. Getting a little bit of an advantage here this time on the front straightaway, up to 0.3 of a second, but kind of a crawl if he's trying to slip away from these guys behind him. You see Healy going up on the fence now in 1 and 2.
Snyder putting his 3 years of sim racing to use here. Lots of experience translates into lots of movement on the track, and he's up 5 positions, taking the lead.
Did you say he's only been here 3 years?
Yep.
Yeah, there's no way.
Think it's been a little longer?
I think it's been
You
substantially
doubting
longer.
you doubting the driver's own admissions?
We got one around a little bit further in the back.
Well, I will say that the drivers wrote their own answers. That's all I'll say to that.
Oh, that's a hard hit coming out of turn 2.
Oh, wow. Yeah, the double bounce and still on the gas, it looks like, trying to straighten it out. Hard bounce, crosses in front. Thankfully doesn't gather anybody else up in that. Almost did. And the Tokyo Drift.
It's a tough break, and one of the toughest things about this track, too, is the fact that it takes something huge for them to throw that yellow flag out. So you're going to see a lot of situations like we've already seen tonight where you see one guy spin or loop it coming out of the corner and just tearing it off. Just a rough break for Frederick Seagraves Jr. here.
Yep. Nothing is going to help him get back in the race at this point, unfortunately. We don't have fast repairs in this series. We don't have the ability to, we're not getting yellow flags here at Auto Club either. There's a lot of infield at this racetrack. And that infield leads to situations where if you spin out and you're able to get clear, you're just going to be clear on your own there, wrecking yourself against a wall that's way further away from the race than would be normal for any official to call a yellow flag. And we've seen it happen twice tonight already.
And as we were covering that, the battle for the lead is really starting to shake itself out now. You got Scott Healy up to the rear bumper, the 29 machine of Heath Snyder, really turning on the afterburners in this last handful of laps. A little bit of a wiggle there in 1 and 2. That 64 machine, man, I've been watching him, and he's been probably the loosest out of all the cars out here, and somehow still just able to hang it on that right rear quarter panel and make it work without having too much issue. I think that's going to be winning combinations. You see him dive it deep down here into turn number 3. Get right up to the quarter panel of the 29 machine, but not able to do anything with that momentum right now. You see that outside line's going to get the pull to the 29, but this, for Schneider, this is just going to be a futile attempt to try and keep him behind you, because at some point, those tires on that 29 machine are going to go. And I just think the 64 has just done such an incredible job keeping those Goodyears underneath them.
Well, we'll see how well that the 64 machine does. He's been staying on him most of this race. He's been using more of the racetrack, it looks like, than Heath Snyder's using right now. We got a handful of cars hitting the pits. Ben Stevens, Jason Kratke, former race leaders themselves, and James Staples.
Oh, up into the fence, 29. This is going to give the lead to the 64 machine now. Snyder
And
got
here
tight
comes the
coming out of 4.
92.
Oh, we got one spinning. Oh, man. So close to saving that.
Not quite. Just not quite. And just to correct things, it looks like 32 is going to be the stage end. 9 more laps.
Right now, Healy in charge of it. Got the lead from the 29 machine of Heath Schneider, and he's running away with it now. Up to a 0.5 of a second advantage over second place. Working himself, not trying to work through lap traffic, kind of trying to let the lap traffic work itself past him. These guys that are out here in front of him are the guys that just came down pit road a little bit earlier, getting their lap back from your race leader. That's a dicey position to be in as the leader, because you're on significantly larger stuff, and these guys are flying, and they kind of just put the car wherever the heck they want to, and it's up to them to find out if both of y'all are making it to the corner.
Absolutely. And you don't just have to deal with the age of the tires. You got to deal with the situation of being auto club, an abrasive track, a bumpy track from what I'm seeing too. Like you said, it's pretty bumpy out there. And these hot versus cold tires, that's going to make a big difference too.
Snyder closed a whole lot on Healy coming to pit road, though. Way more aggressive pit entry than the 64 machine had. Gonna bring him back into the picture here a little bit.
Well, right now, Healy, Snyder, and Todd Parent, your current race leaders, are all in the pits. Parent up 21 position. Excuse me. Parent up 26 positions.
Yeah, we got to wait for everything to cycle out here too, because you got a lot of guys that stayed out pretty late there that haven't really lost the spots. I think Parent might be one of them, as well as Nicotera.
Back out on the track now is Heath Snyder.
What happened to Healy?
Ooh, Snyder just gets sailed past by Kyle Westwood for first place. Healy is still in there.
He's back on track now, but he messed something up there on pit road. Because Snyder got a huge advantage. I'm wondering if maybe he got a speeding penalty.
Very well could have. Healy now back 14 places to 15th, whereas Westwood and Snyder still comfortably in the front of the pack. Hunter Hughes also up there.
Must have missed the box or something. I don't know what happened there with Healy. We're looking at the... Yeah, so...
I'm guessing a speeding penalty was probably applied.
I'm gonna figure out. I wonder if Snyder maybe just filled it up. Trying to save a set of tires, maybe.
Could be. We got 3 wide going on right now.
6 seconds stop. That's a splash and go. And
On
unfortunately,
the inside. Sorry, go on.
And unfortunately for Healy, he's stuck in the hornet's nest right now with nowhere to go.
Yeah, he's really tucked back in there. I was about to say, Chad Genning's been leading that hornet's nest. Healy on the inside. Genning's been still in the middle, riding that center line. We had 3 wide over and over again. Contact between the 1 and the 78. That's Jordan Sailors going back into Ben Stevens' nose. Looks like they're 2 not worse for the wear.
4 wide, really tight coming out of turn number 4. That was almost an incident. 78 machine swung way wide there.
Yeah, he did. Give a big scare to Scott Healy there. Healy down to the inside, looking to taking that spot back from Chad Genningsman.
Healy also on the freshest. Healy also on the freshest tires. You see, there's Heath Snyder right up there against the wall, going backwards compared to these guys. And you're seeing where those 4 freshies are really paying off for Scott Healy. So he dives down to the bottom of Genningsman here. Going to clear him into 3 and 2 for 1 special in turn 4. It's going to move Scott Healy way up the pylon here.
Absolutely. Healy holding on tight. Genningsman right behind him, trying to find a spot to put the nose of the truck just to make sure that Healy knows that he's there. Fortunately, can't quite find it on the inside. Goes up high on the outside to try to find some speed.
Yeah, from 9th to 4th in 1 lap. Pretty impressive move there for Scott Healy. I mean, the speed that we saw at him last week, week 4 last, and what we're seeing here tonight, it looks like it is high time for him to get out here and get himself a dominating win. So much pace in that 64 truck tonight.
Absolutely. Pardon me. Up in the front, Kyle Westwood has started to take up a significant lead. About a 1.7 lead on Hunter Hughes, who's next up in line. Hunter Hughes himself with about a 0.5 second lead on Scott Healy, but that is a closing fast.
Big slide there for the 18 machine. Hunter Hughes just about lost it in 1 and 2. He's going to fall quickly.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, he's going to fall quickly into the clutch of the 64 of Scott Healy's. You see him dive deep down into turn number 3 and basically blow the doors off of the 18 machine of Hunter Hughes. That's what a couple laps of advantage on tires will give you here at Auto Club. It's insane how fast you go on the fresh versus 3 or 4 lap old tires. So much fall off.
Yeah, it's paying off big time for Scott Healy right now, who is trying his best to chase down Kyle Westwood, and that chase is going actually fairly well as the gap is decreasing past 1.5 seconds down to 1.3 seconds. Healy really pouring it into the engine right now, really giving it the speed, closing that gap with Kyle Westwood, hungry for first place.
And Westwood on significantly older tires than the 64 of Healy. This is going to be a pretty simple pass for the 64 machine to get him back to the lead. And with him being on better stuff than everybody else in the field right now, I just don't see anything stopping him from running away to a massive advantage before this thing's over.
Yeah, I really don't either. He's on the newer, he's got the tires for it. Right now, Westwood does not. Westwood clearly showing signs of struggle, keeping that gap with Scott Healy. Healy behind him, less than a second. We take a look a little bit back in the field. We've got a couple other people sliding around and getting things settled. Blair Holloman down to the inside. He was briefly too wide there with Gary Donnellan. Further back, Jay Salmon is making his way up 24 positions. Andrew Kotska is up 24 positions, or 22. So we got a couple of guys midway who are still going to be names to have on our roster, people to keep an eye on as the race progresses here. Not just up here at the front.
See Ben Stevens floating around there too in that 78 machine. Second place in points, having a nice, calm, quiet day at the races.
Absolutely. Speaking of a calm, quiet day at the races, the current points leader is 32 positions up. That's Chad Genningsman. He's in third.
Yeah, Chad is somebody that once we get into the later stages of this event too, can be very potent when it comes to battling for that win. You see him just a car separating him and Scott Healy. Healy, we already know, has potentially the fastest car in the field, but you got to also tip a hat to that 97 machine to be able to come from dead last in the field just about to get up into third place before we're done with the first stage. You know he's got something special underneath him tonight.
And as things progress, James Staples takes the position right now from Gary Donnellan for P4. Although I think it looks like Gary Donnellan is going to fight back for it almost immediately. Donnellan unable to make the move back to the inside. The stage is over. Scott Healy crosses the line, I believe, to take the stage win. Kyle Westwood second. Yep, Chad Genningsman third. We're going to take a quick commercial break here on Grid Vision, and we'll be right back with some more racing from Auto Club. So don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
We're back here on Grid Vision with more of the SSRL Truck Series. I'm Joe LaCastro, joined by Sheldon Atkins and Austin Derbyshire. We're putting on a race here at Auto Club tonight, and we're at the stage break. 32 was our stage break. We're now on lap 35. The lights are off, which means we're going to be going as soon as we get back around to the start-finish line. How have you been enjoying the race so far, Sheldon?
Man, it's been an absolute blast to watch these guys rip 3 and 4 wide all the way around this track for multiple laps on end. And, you know, that was the aggression that we saw at the start of the race, knowing that there was still 80 laps ahead of us. About to be in for a treat here as we get into the later stages of this event. Not much race left now, just a 45 lap or 35 lap dash to the finish. Nope, I got my math wrong. 45 laps.
It's all right. And we got some fans in the YouTube chat watching. Thanks for joining us tonight. Fans of Colton Gardner. The green flag has flown, and we are go yet again on Grid Vision.
Good clean start for Scott Healy, going to get over it and take control of this race as we dive down into turns 1 and 2. Guys up there on the top, see Kyle Westwood with Blair Holloman right in line behind him.
They're too wide. Donnellan and Holloman too wide right now. Also a little bit further back, too wide. It's Hughes. Oh, excuse me. It's Staples and Barrier. Barrier bouncing around a little bit, trying to hold that center line. He's going to take it down to the white line, though, on this turn. Puts it right into the bumper of Hunter Hughes.
That's a bad.
Oh,
that's a bad
spins
place.
him.
Round he goes.
Hunter Hughes around. The yellow's out. We've got
That's
people
cool.
down to the inside. Couple of hits.
That's going to catch multiple trucks up. The 21 machines in it. The 1. Hard hits. Oh, man. Brian Britt just
dead
about had the
stop
thing missed
traffic.
and just barely got the nose clipped in on it.
Completely stopped all traffic there. We've lost some pieces to cars. They're flying around on the track. Let's get another look at how that happened. I think we were watching it live when we were, and we caught it as it happened, but let's just go ahead and get a couple angles on it here. We'll see how that spin started.
I'll talk you through it here. Basically, what it's going to come down to, you see that 53 kind of juke up a little bit, trying to get to the outside of the 18, gets in a compromised aero position, gets on the right rear quarter, sends Hunter Hughes around. Hard hit there for Heath Schneider. And at that point, the 18's just a passenger, and everybody else is kind of nowhere to go. When you're 4 and 5 wide here at Auto Club and somebody spins in front of you, it's guaranteed chaos.
That's exactly what happened. There's the hit. Spins him around, barely gets by himself. Ooh, what a terrifying point of view.
And that's a classic Auto Club incident. One guy in front of you gets, a little bit shallow on the corner, gets a little tight. You try to get up there to the top, try to make some kind of a move against them, and the bumpers line up at the most inoptimal way, and you're sitting there looking at 5, 6, 7 cars wiped out just like that.
Yeah, got to give these guys credit for having this be the first yellow of the race. We're over 35 laps into the race, and this is the first yellow caused by driving and not by the stage break. So I would have expected it to happen a little bit sooner. You got eager drivers. They're putting it 3, 4 wide, but they know what they're doing out here. It's really that was a moment of situational awareness just gone wrong. but it's been going right for so much of the night so far for so many other drivers. We've had a couple people run off, it's true, but we haven't had something like that yet, where it was kind of gathered up a couple of cars all at the same time, and that's just what I've been expecting and haven't gotten yet. This is the first time that we've seen it here at Auto Club tonight, so let's see some of that situational awareness from the first part of tonight's race click back into place, and let's hope it stays a little bit green for the remainder of the race.
Here's hoping, but this also is going to open up the doors, open up the windows for different fuel strategies here to make it to the end of the race too. You know, these tanks are a little bit light here at Auto Club this week, and this gives these drivers an opportunity to kick the thing in neutral, push the clutch in, turn the motor off, cycle through everything, try to save a couple extra, you know, gallons here and there. This can really play big changes to the strategy depending on how far these guys are able to stretch it.
And we've seen races end with fuel-saving strategies that involved that before. Guys coasting their way around turns, turning their car back on when it gets back into the straight, using that clutch. So as you've said, I wouldn't be surprised if we see that strategy come out tonight, as some cars have taken this opportunity to pit a second time. Looks like most of them have. There is a small handful of cars that did not, that are still out toward the front. So we'll see as things are getting ready to go here. The lights are off now, which means next time around we're going to be green.
So look at somebody that's kind of snuck their way up here into the front. Donelin, wicked fast in practice, didn't quite get the qualifying lap that he, I think, honestly deserved based on the amount of pace that he did show in practice. Back up here in the top three now. Up there on the bottom line, right behind your race leader, Scott Healy. That's another guy that can really go toe-to-toe here and possibly walk away with the hardware tonight.
Well, fingers crossed for that. Gary Donelin third, Kyle Westwood second, Scott Healy currently leading things as we get ready to go green here. Pace car is off. Hold your breath. All right, we are go yet again on Grid Vision tonight. Scott Healy taking things out to the front. Too wide behind him, Kyle Westwood, Gary Donelin. Donelin wanting to hold on to that spot real bad that he's been working his way up towards. He's earned it at this point. But it looks like Westwood is going to fall back and potentially end up in a three-wide situation if he loses any more speed. Not yet, though.
And Donelin stuck on the bottom there, engine bogged down, not able to get the power down to be able to stretch his legs down this back straightaway. Going to fall back a spot here, lose one to Holloman. Holloman going to work that outside line, trying to build momentum to get up here to their leaders, and he's just about going to do it coming out of four. But battle shaking up for the lead now. Kyle Westwood on the outside line, getting the advantage on Scott Healy. And Westwood's going to lead lap 41. And slowly walk away with it as we come into turn number one.
Looking good. Too wide for second right now. Blair Holloman, Scott Healy a little bit further back. We've got some other battles going on that are pretty darn close. Andrew Kotska leads a small group of buzzing bees with Corey Moore on the inside. Moore moving up to take that spot. The yellow flag is out, though. We got a wreck in the back. Car's flipping. It looked like a car was flipping. It might have not quite been that extreme. Let's take a look and see.
See Brian Britt down on the inside of the 08 machine. 08 comes down, a little bit of contact with the truck in front of him, and upside down. Huge flip for him. Oh, that's a violent one. I think we need to break up the gyro camera.
Oh. That could be fun.
It's my favorite part right here. This is instant nausea here in VR.
He's up. He's into the back. Wow.
That is not the way you want the truck angled.
No, you want all four on the ground typically. having 3 or even 4 in the air, you're just not going to get the traction you're looking for.
I wonder if he held the brakes while he was upside down.
Good question.
It's a solid reflex. We all do it.
You turn the steering wheel and hold the brakes, you just think,
Upside
maybe.
down. Yep, wheels locked up. Yep, he locked him. He locked him there for a second. Means he's a man of good intent. Because if he was sideways, he'd have it locked.
It's hard to have the wherewithal when you're in that situation to do anything but just swear, mostly.
Such a tough break for him. He's had kind of a rough night. You know, we saw him spin onto pit road earlier, clip the wall, and finally get himself into a position where it looked like he could go forward and upside down and over. See guys coming down now trying to get 4 tires and fuel.
Whoa!
15
Contact.
truck sideways. J-Lick sideways on pit road. Contact with, I think that was Heath Schneider that got into him.
Don't go out. Don't go out. Ooh, be careful.
Heath missed his pit box with that whole ordeal too. His rough night gets even rougher.
Rough hits for everyone. Jalik not able to do much after you're pulling out of the pit box at that point, obviously. Up at the front, Kyle Westwood, Blair Holloman, Scott Healy holding on to the 1, 2, 3.
You can see everybody trying their best to save a little bit of fuel here under this caution.
Doing their absolute best. Kyle Westwood in the lead, Blair Holloman. Holloman out of Middleton, Pennsylvania. Fan of The Big Lebowski.
That's a good movie with so many memorable quotes that I cannot say on air. But
that's fair.
The image of John Goodman swinging a baseball bat will forever live rent-free in my head.
Oh, roger that.
There's something about
a good movie.
Finding a Stranger in the Alps was the TV edit for it.
Well,
such a good movie.
If you haven't seen it, folks, I suggest it's a Coen Brothers masterpiece. But it looks like it's one of our driver's favorite films there. Figured we'd give a little tidbit about him as we're going around. Getting ready to go green, though. So let's get back in the...
Rug really tied the room together, man.
That's what I'm saying. I am anticipating a good start here for Westwood, but I think that Healy has really been putting the heat on during some of these restarts. And let's see if he can hold on to that heat, though.
I think we're going to see what we saw with the last one, man. I think Healy's going to try and back it down, save a little bit of tire, because that's been the strategy that's just worked for him so well tonight, letting these guys go out there and run away from him for the first couple laps, then just carve back into him seconds at a time on the late stage of a run.
Yeah. Yeah. That's when it comes back into play, when you find out who's got the right strategy. Pace cars off. Wait for it. All right, we are green yet again on Grid Division tonight. Westwood off ahead. Holloman holding on to second on his own. Right behind him, Healy and Donnellan side by side for third.
See Holloman setting it up way wide up into 1 and 2. Here comes Healy charging back on the bottom, but Holloman's going to get the advantage, the momentum down the back straightaway. It's going to shoot him out in front of the 64 machine. He's going to clear for second, and they are 3 wide, a couple rows back.
That's right. That was Todd Parent moving back between those 2 cars, between Kevin Martin and Brendan Barrier. Barrier now himself on the outside, moving up again, 3 wide with this 7.
22 machine of Dave Fuchs Jr. gets hard into the fence out of turn 4. He's going to fall under fire to the 47 machine of Andrew Koska, who has masterfully worked his way through the field here into the late stage of this race.
There is a pack of Hornets, as we like to say, moving in around 8th position. Corey Moore out in the middle of a group there. He just cut the nose off James Staples. Staples quite unable to get the speed he had earlier. It looks like he's losing spots, falling back a little bit now as the 97 Chad Genningsman sets up for the pass on the inside. Staples
gonna let these guys try to figure it out in front of him, not wanting to throw it into the 3-wide position just yet. Really calculated driver that 97 machine is every week. Once he put himself in too many bad ordeals. See, Kotzka going to get stuck in the middle here.
Yep. By himself.
Kotzka's going to make contact there.
Yep.
The 11 machine almost went around Corey Moore, the luckiest man in Fontana right now.
Very true. That was a lot of paint trading between those two cars that didn't result in a spin as Moore moves back through the middle of the pack.
Oh, one of the fence. Almost
two
in the fence.
Too. Tried to pinpoint who that was, but we saw a couple bounce off the fence here. That is so treacherous with a flatter track like this without as much banking on some of these moments. You just think, I'll be fine in this turn, and it's not the case. You give it the gas enough, you're just going to slide right up.
Yeah, this is one of those tracks where the front end of the car can really get away from you really quick, but also don't underestimate how quick you can lose that right rear tire on the same token though on corner exit. Now we're watching the 47 machine at Kotzka right behind Genningsman here.
Ooh, getting sideways almost. Corey Moore behind him. Genningsman, 27 positions up, holding on to 8th place. Behind him, Brandon Barrier is fighting off Kevin Martin right now. Martin down on the inside. They're fighting for 12th.
Oh,
Barrier
Martin gonna get tight coming out turn 4.
Just a little bit, still a 2-wide battle there. Behind them, Chase Salmon slots things in front of Scott Stroder, trying to go ahead and cement his position. He's got it. Down into the inside goes the 69 machine of Kevin Martin. Martin hoping to keep that speed. He's unable to, though, as the crew behind him look like they want to take the inside.
That almost became a 4-wide situation very quickly.
It did. Kevin Martin and Jay Salmon both side by side saying we can both take the inside at the same time, right? Didn't work out, had to back off.
Kevin Martin, a little bit of
Salmon's got the
contact.
inside.
Martin, a little bit of contact with the 53 machine of Brandon Barrier.
Just a bit.
Does a great job keeping the thing straight because where he hit him, the right front kind of unloaded, de-wedged the car, and he almost went for a spin there. Good heads-up driving from Kevin Martin and the 69 machine to keep the thing underneath him. Did you see the battle with Scott Schroeder and Jay Salmon still going on right in the mirror of the 69 machine? And here comes Scott Schroeder now, down to the bottom of Kevin Martin, but not able to make anything materialize. Outside line advantage going to go back to Jay Salmon in the 67, and he's going to rip the fence coming into turn 3. And neither one of them really able to go anywhere with the momentum they're building.
Let's take a look and see. Oh,
three
hard
of them in the
hits
fence.
into the wall. Yeah, I saw that. Ben Stevens was one of them. Hard hits into the wall for a small handful of cars a little ways back. They were all kind of in line, and they all bounced off the wall at the same time. Sparks flying, but it looks like everyone's still on the field.
That was Martin, Salmon, and Stevens. All three followed each other's line coming out of turn number 4, and all three of them paid the price for it.
Unfortunate. You pick the guy who picks the wide line, and y'all pay for it. There's a battle brewing, though.
About for the lead shaping up, but already shaken out as you see Scott Healy snag the lead from Blair Holloman through 3 and 4. That's what I was talking about, but here comes Holloman fighting back to the inside, gonna get the quarter pound, try to pull the side draft coming into turn number 1. Gonna try and set it up for a slide job here, not able to do it though. Because you see the 64 machine, Scott Healy gonna charge that outside and carry that momentum all the way through the corner.
Yeah, it was a situation where Holloman just didn't have the momentum to close the door and slide up into that lead position. He had to stay side by side for that time. He played it safe, and that safeness cost him the position, but he's going to hold on to second and probably get another shot at it.
I'll tell you what, I can't say enough for the pace that Holloman's found here in these last couple weeks. Really been up here at bat more often than not. Good third place run last week at Kentucky, and here he is fighting for a win potentially with Scott Healy here at Auto Club. It's nice when my picks work out for me. A little bit further back, though, 3-car battle for third place with Kyle Westwood kind of holding up the parade formation. Donald down on the bottom.
Right, speaking of my picks, Westwood, one of them, now in third place. As you mentioned, he is holding on to that little group of 3 who are still sort of battling it out, sort of just riding it out. They've been side by side previously. I think he's about to go side by side right now, as here comes the 80 of Drew Prohl.
With a huge side draft all the way down the front straightaway, going to dive it deep down into turn number 1 here. Try and set up for a slide job, and he's got it. Westwood going to roll out of it and let him have it. Knows that 80 machine's a little bit faster than him right now. Going to try for the undercut. Coming out of turn 2, but not going to be able to do much with that momentum that the Highline's bringing. But into the fence for Drew Prohl, so that's going to give the position to Westwood. He's going to take it right back. He's going to take Donnellan with him.
Donnellan, 3 positions up. Westwood, 2 positions up.
Oh, but Donnellan's going to catch the fence coming out of 4. And attempts to throw a block on Prohl, and it's going to slow Prohl down enough. Donnellan's going to have a little bit of an advantage. He's going to be able to clear him coming back into turn number 1.
Can he do it? Can Drew Prohl make this pass? He's trying hard. Down on the inside now. Donnellan on the outside.
He's trying everything he's got. But once they get up there on that outside line, you have to be absolutely perfect with your execution on that inside line to be able to get anything done with that truck on the outside, because they're just going to fly away on the straightaway if you're not able to clear them.
Yeah, it's got to be permanent. Whatever you do, it's got to stick. If it doesn't stick, you're just going to lose the spot.
These two putting on a really good battle. One guy that's liking what he's seeing out of his mirror is Westwood, because he can just kind of sit there and maintain a gap between him and the leaders of the trucks behind him. Not have to worry about burning off so much, but up here at the lead, it's not over yet. Holloman's still within spitting distance of Healy.
Trying his best, going around lap 57 of 80, approaching 20 laps to go here on tonight's race.
Working ourselves closer to that pit window. We already see one truck leaving pit road right now.
Reminder, that pit will be probably the last pit of the race for most of these guys.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you what, it's so nice to sit here and watch a race from Auto Club and see these guys using every inch of the racetrack. Remember there for the longest time, this place was one groove around the bottom. It's just refreshing to see these guys have options at a Speedway. So right on board with your race leader, Scott Healy. Bringing it to lead, lap 59.
We got Dave Vuge heading down pit road.
Final pit stop of the night for the 22 machine. Looks like he had a good entry into pit road.
About the best you can hope for. Nice and lined up.
Tell you what, look at Westwood, man. He's really starting to reel these two in front of him in.
I'm sure hoping he does. He's my pick for the night.
Holloman going to bring it down, try to get the undercut on your race leader, Scott Healy, give himself an option to try and put some miles between him and the 64 machine when he comes out of pit road here.
We'll see.
Donnellan and Prohl still fighting tooth and nail. Prohl got the apron there in 1 and 2 and just about had that thing loop out from behind him. It's really going to hurt him down this back straightaway. As you see the 97 machine of Giddings been coming up there and charging by him coming into 3.
Ginning's been ready to make that pass on the outside, holding on. He makes it, and right behind him, that's going to be the 11 machine. One lap down. Yep, that's correct. That's Corey Moore, a lap down.
Handful of guys on pit road now. I see Staples. I see Prol on pit road. 47 machine at Kotska. Oh, Kotska with a huge miss on the pit box. Let's throw it back in reverse. That's going to hurt a lot. Brian Britt coming in for service.
James Staples is in, as I think you said.
Let's see, we got the Dick Trickle pit boards out tonight. Oh, big slide for the 64 machine. Scott Healy trying to come in.
Lock up. Well, he's getting fresh tires, so that'll be okay. Let's hope he didn't get a penalty.
I think he should be all right. Didn't look like he was going too hot coming in.
Good, good.
He's getting some in the 97. Probably gonna just dive it down here.
And who's still out there right now? It looks like Scott Schroeder's still out there. Jay Samuel's still out there. Loving the Friends paint scheme on Charles Abert.
See, Abert got to lead a lap. Now Scott Schroeder in charge of the race. He's able to keep it out for one more lap. He will get a lap on the board. Some points attached to that, I would expect.
He's getting chased hard right now by the 24, who's a lap down from him.
Yeah, these are just guys getting back on the lead lap after pitting, passing the guys that stayed out. Looks like he's keeping it out this time.
Whoop, into the wall.
Take your point, walk off with it, bring it back down this time. Don't want to get too much of a disadvantage. So that is a nervous position to be in, knowing that you're the only car out there on old tires, and everybody's flying by you. And they just about wadded it up in front of them. I don't know if you caught that.
Oh no, I just barely missed it.
Yeah, the 69 machine slides up into the 6 just a little bit coming out of turn number 2, and they came together and about wrecked.
Ooh, fast down to the inside.
Here comes Schroeder bringing it in. A couple guys behind him too. Be Jalik and Stevens, I do believe. JP Jones is bringing it in. That's going to give the lead of the race to the 36, or is it the 36 or the 35? It's going to be Stevens. Up there at the point for now. And with the undercut, it looks like Blair Holloman's going to come out with the lead by the time this cycles through.
Looks like it.
Expect that advantage to be evaporating really quickly because Healy has 2 lap fresher tires than the 32 machine of Holloman.
Just that little gap will still make a difference.
Yeah, it'll make a difference. But those fresh tires, man, they're insurmountable. We are getting into the closing stages, but I've seen some crazy stuff up here in Grid Vision this last year when it comes to tires and gaps, and I will speak nothing until it happens.
Exactly. Smart. Play it safe. Speaking of playing it safe, right now with the front with a 2.5 lead, that's Holloman. Just making a few passes on some of the lap cars there. Everybody's kind of strung out a little bit now at this point. There is a 2-wide situation with Andrew Kotska and Kevin Martin a little ways back. Or excuse me, Dave Feud Jr. and Andrew Kotska for 10th place. Side by side across the line going into one. Still holding on to it. Dave Fuge on the outside, unable to keep the momentum, just looking not to get left behind. Kotska moves up, closes the door on him, takes that spot. Fuge holding on to the inside, briefly throwing it 3 wide. Nope, not quite 3 wide. I was giving a little more speed back there to the number 6 than he had earned. That's Gabriel Andy. Who's actually a lap back. He was racing pretty hard.
That lead is all but evaporated now. Blair Holloman looking up in his mirror, seeing Scott Healy just a handful of truck lengths behind him now. 2 tires threaded, the 2 lap pressure tires at play here at Auto Club. And you factor that in with the fact that Scott Healy has been the best car on long runs all night long, just doing a great job at maximizing the life expectancy of his equipment. It's really made him deadly when it comes to the battle for the win here tonight. Creep in on 10 laps to go. You see Holloman diving down to the bottom here, Healy diving down to the bottom here in 1. It's side by side with Holloman coming out 2, and he's going to take the spot in with ease down the back straightaway.
Just manages to close that door. Holloman barely even noticing, holding on to that gas. Just got the speed, but not enough speed to keep up with Scott Healy.
Healy's got the tires, now he's got the clean air. Now you're just going to have to, he's going to sit out here and dig to get this advantage that he wants to get this thing over with, and pray to God there's no cautions with under 10 laps to go in the event.
Almost exactly 10, looks like.
Caution comes out right now. It'll be the only thing that can take this thing from Healy.
That's true. That's true. Oh, that's 11 laps. Excuse me. I keep forgetting to add the 1. I always got to remember to do NASCAR math. I'm looking at the ticker. One guy who's been pretty. Go on.
Completion of the lap, not the start of the lap.
Exactly. One guy who's been pretty consistently competitive tonight has been Kyle Westwood. He's only 2 places up from where he started, but we've almost always seen him somewhere near the podium. So there's a chance, as things go on here, that there could be a leap. He is only about 2 seconds behind, so if something happens between Healy and Holloman, we could see. But Healy has put a second gap on Holloman right now. So as we've said, there's very few things other than acts of God and nature that are going to be changing the situation. Healy commanding lead right now over Blair Holloman.
And the title of Mr. Excitement tonight probably has to go to the 5th place runner right now, the 97 machine of Chad Ginningsman, starting this thing in 35th and within the first stage driving himself all the way to 3rd place, sitting here in the top 5. Good clean race, no big issues, no mistakes, just maximizing every second of every lap. Good run for him, and a good point as to why he's the points leader at this stage in the game. Also got to give another tip of the hat to Gary Donlin, sitting there in 6th place. He's been up in that contention in the top 5, top 3 all race long. Such a good run for him tonight, and a much needed one as well to kind of move him up through these point standings.
Yeah, Donlin's had a fantastic run. Ginningsman up 30 places from not having a qualifying time to sitting 5th right now. Beautiful.
Staple's running pretty solid too, up in this top 10 hunt all night long.
Yeah, that's always been a name that sort of crept back into our conversation as the race has gone on. All of a sudden, Staples will be on the outside, just gathering speed, and it's paid off for him in a couple of gains here and there, but he's more or less maintained his position throughout tonight's race, but when your position is 7th and you're up the front like that, that can be a tall order just to begin with. So it's a very good run again for James Staples as well.
Yeah, just a solid night for him. No real issues, and impressive being one of the first guys to get up there and work 2 inches off of that wall and be able to make that work lap after lap without chunking the tires off of that 24 machine. It's always a rarity when you can find somebody that's able to do that, but Staples has done a great job of it. Right behind him, we got a battle between looks like we got a battle between Kotska and Martin. They were side by side there down the back straightaway, still side by side coming out of turn number 4. See Martin. Oh, never mind. That was a lap car in between the two of them. That is my mistake there, guys.
It's all right. I was looking for the same thing. It's okay. We do have some lap cars now that are mixing things up and causing a bit of traffic to
big loose
stir things
Holloman.
up. Here's a 2x2 situation though right now that I think is legit. Who are we looking at here?
This
This
is about
is
for
for
second
second.
right now. Westwood all the way down to the flat of the racetrack. Holloman still trying to work that outside line. You saw Holloman get really loose through the center of 1 and 2, and you see a little bit of a slide coming through turn 4. I think it's safe to say that the 32 has used up every bit of that, every bit of those Goodyear Eagles as we get down to 5 laps to go here at Auto Club.
Down to 5 laps to go. Westwood moves into second place. Yes, I do want a correct pick, Grid Vision moderator. Who doesn't? Denied. Looks like we are going to keep rolling with 5 laps to go. Healy out in front. He's 3 seconds ahead of Westwood. Got the course to himself right now out there. Back a little ways further, looking for a couple of battles that might be going on. Nothing that's too side by side at the moment. I believe Evan Ethel and Brandon Barrier fighting it out for 13th. Barrier able to just, Barrier unable to hold off Ethel, unfortunately, who's able to slide up and in front. Barrier's looking like he's going to return the favor, but he can't quite get the speed.
I'll say one thing, man. 3 laps to go as we come to the line here. This is the closest that Scott Healy's probably been spiritually all year. Got a huge advantage. The only thing that you can do now is just pray that everybody keeps it straight behind you, that nobody makes any mistakes, there's no wrecks. Because a green-white checkered would completely throw everything out the window for you, as well as you've been running tonight. We know how fast he is on a long run. You know he's praying that he doesn't have to find out how fast he is on a short run. So you see the battle shaking up now for what I believe is 3rd place, as you see Prohl get down to the inside of Holloman. Holloman fading fast on these older tires. Prohl's going to get the spot with ease down the back straightaway, and now that's going to open up the door for Donnellan to get down to the inside in turn number 3.
Donnellan moving up to 5th place, holding on to that spot.
Working on 4th.
Situation.
Donnellan down to the bottom, not able to get the momentum down, though. Holloman using that outside line to his advantage to build that run down the front straightaway. But here comes Donnellan diving deep into turn number 1. Is he going to be able to get down there this time? I don't think so. Looks like he's going to lose the nose just a little bit. Not enough to grip to make the pass. It's going to be a little loose coming out of turn number 2, and that's going to open the door for... I couldn't even tell you who that is right now because I can't see the number. That's a lap truck behind him. Never mind.
That's a lap truck. There we go.
Donnellan's still trying to fight on that bottom.
Yes, he is. Holloman, though, on the outside. Here up at the front, the final lap. The white flag is out. Scott Healy is going around, about to pass a lap car. He's getting ready for the last lap of the race. He's 3.5 seconds ahead of Kyle Westwood, who is himself a half second ahead of Drew Prohl. It's been a clean-ish 90 laps here. We had a couple of yellows. We had a clean first stage, but it's been a beautiful race overall at Auto Club, and we're getting ready to see it end. Here it comes, right across the line, getting around the traffic. There he goes. Scott Healy takes the checkered flag.
And what a commanding victory. Showed up one of the fastest trucks all night, the best truck on the long runs, and a well-deserved win for the 64 machine. Been shorted before in the past, but tonight he's going to be able to take it home. Scott Healy, race winner.
Beautiful strategy that paid off moment after moment for Scott Healy. A very good win. Textbook play of the cars around him, and he played them like a fiddle up there at the end, getting himself through on saved equipment, getting himself through on smarter driving, and getting a clean 3.5-second win over Kyle Westwood.
Yeah, right there. Right, the right setup, the right strategy, and the right driver all culminates into just an absolutely dominating performance for the 64 machine. We'll see him burn it down here at the start-finish line.
All right. All right, folks, you saw it, and now let's recap it. That was the race at Auto Club. First place tonight went to Scott Healy. Second place, Kyle Westwood. Third, Drew Prohl. Fourth, Blair Holloman. Fifth, Gary Donnellan. Sixth, Chad Genningsman. Seventh, James Staples. Eighth, Kevin Martin. Ninth, Andrew Kotska. And 10th, Corey Moore.
In 11th place, you got Ben Stevens, followed by Scott Schroeder in 12th. 13th is going to go to Evan Ethel with Brandon Barrier in 14th. 15th is Ryan Jalik, followed by Brian Britt in 16th, Art Nicotera in 17th, followed by Todd Parent in 18th. And running at your top 20 is going to be Sean Stevens and Jay Salmon.
Moving on from 20 into 21, Heath Snyder. 22, Patrick Stein. 23rd, Colton Gardner. 24th, Gabriel Andy. 25th, Jason Kratke. 26th, Tom Ringer. 27th, JP Jones. 28th, Hunter Hughes. 29th, Logan Joyle. And rounding that out, 30th, Jordan Sailors.
And in 31st, we got Charles Abert, followed by Christopher Fuge in 32nd. 33rd is going to go to Dave Fuge Jr. with Victor Fluger in 34th. 35th is going to go to Frederick Seagraves Jr. And rounding out the 36th truck field tonight, unfortunately, Joseph Tucker.
Phew! Quite the race. Let's see if we can get a few of our drivers up in for some interviews. We're going to be talking to Drew Prohl, Kyle Westwood, and Scott Healy. Let's start with Drew Prohl. See if he's available for tonight's race. I don't see him available right now. Oh, there he is. He's a little ways down. Truck, can we move him up here? I'm having a little bit of trouble. That's all right. We're just going to take a second and push and pull some levers. There we go. Drew Prohl, can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
Ha, what a race tonight. How are you feeling after that third place win?
I'm feeling fantastic after missing my box on the green flag pit, getting in the wall, and not taking out the guy ahead of me early on when I was running in the top 8.
Came right back after those and had a very, very good finish there.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Was there a moment at the end of the race where maybe you thought you had a little extra in the tank, or what was your strategy toward the end of tonight's race once we started having those yellows kick in?
So towards the end there, like, we had the really big wreck and like half the field pit, and I was like, I'm not gonna pit. I'll just keep shutting the car off, save that fuel, and then I'll only have to do it once as long as I can get to right about that 60. And I ended up getting lucky and being able to have that track position to do that. I tried staying out as late as I could, but some of these guys got to stay out a little later.
Gotcha. Is there anybody you'd like to shout out to or thank tonight?
I can't thank Chastity Tucker Realty. She's the main sponsor on the hood. If you're looking for a house out in Clarksville, Tennessee, hit her up. She'll get you all situated. Hostile Intent Racing, Ryko for this amazing setup. It was great. It's the first time I got to run it all week, even including last week. I didn't get to drive on Auto Club, so would have been a great one to have all week.
And now we got you out here. Well, that was a good third place finish, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're very welcome, sir. Take care. Have a good rest of your night. That was Drew Prohl. In a second here, we're going to be switching things up and trying to see about talking to Kyle Westwood. All right, passing it over to you, Sheldon.
There you go, Westwood. Sheldon up here in the Grid Vision booth. Man, good run tonight, sitting around, started 5th and basically just kept yourself in the picture all evening. Tell me about your racing, man.
Hey, Sheldon. Yeah, I mean, it was fun. I felt like it was I was finally able to put a solid race together this season that actually with a decent finish. So I mean, that was fun being able to run up front here. Had a great battle all race long between Scott, Blair, Drew, Gary. We all had some good side-by-side battles, I feel.
Yeah, so tell me about how just how much fun it is to come here to Auto Club and be able to put the thing wherever the heck you want and be able to make speed with it. Because, man, it is so much fun to cover up here in the booth, and God, I hate the fact that this place isn't around anymore.
I know, it kills me, trust me, but that's the best part about this place. Just going into every corner. Honestly, most of the time I go into the corner, I don't know where I'm going until I just commit very last second. Usually based on where the guy's running right in front of me or right behind me, but that's the best part about this place. You don't really know where you're going until your truck makes up the mind for you.
Yeah, like I said, man, I absolutely miss the fact that we had this track as an option for so many years. How are you looking towards next week? Feel like you got anything in the tank there, or think the good luck's gonna stick with you?
You gotta remind me where we're at next week.
I'm trying to remind me where we're at next week too.
If I'm remembering correctly, we're at Old Atlanta, so I'm kind of expecting a little bit of the same. I mean, obviously, I think tires are going to be huge there next week, but I think you're going to also have a lot of options there next week, whether you want to run middle, high, or low. I think you're going to see a lot of good battles. It's just going to be, I think, tire wear. I think that's going to be the game next week, and I'm eager to see how that plays out. Who saves the tires the best?
Man, if I can give you one tip that I found to work for me at Old Atlanta, stick the thing down on the paint as long as you can, and then let everybody else shoot up there on that outside line. It's going to be a blast watching you guys run there, because you guys, this series put on such a great show tonight, put on such a great one at Kentucky, and I'm ecstatic to see what we can do at Atlanta. But,
well, thanks, guys. I'm glad we could put on a good show for you.
Yeah, and a strong second place run tonight, sitting in the top 5. Man, who do you want to thank for it this evening?
First and foremost, I want to thank my teammates. Everybody does a great job at helping each other out in the Discord chat here. Want to thank Dave and Jordan and Corey and everybody for putting on a great show here in the league. We got some sponsors I want to thank. Team Watson, they give us some great setups every week. Boomer Button Box, try to get them on the truck every week. And lastly, I want to thank you guys up in the booth for putting on an awesome show.
Man, we thank you for putting on a great show for us to give us something to actually call tonight. And looking forward to seeing you next week. Thanks for coming up here and spending a moment with us up here in the booth.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, guys.
And I'm going to hand that. Oh, whoops.
Alrighty. Thank you, Sheldon, for that interview. And I am going to go ahead and take things away with our race winner, I'm hoping. Let's see if we can get Scott Healy up in here. Scott Healy, can you hear us?
Yes, sir. What's up, man?
Well, I'm doing pretty good. Probably not as good as you, though. Congratulations on the win.
Appreciate it, man. It was a long, hard fight. Honestly, I thought Akasha was going to come out the last couple laps and screw me with the 3-second lead. I'm like, oh, no. I saw, like, everybody keying up. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, oh, no, please, no. Please, no yellow. Thankfully, I pulled it out tonight.
Yeah, yellow would have really changed your strategy there at the end. Your restarts were not as fast as the ends of your stages there. Were you doing like an equipment saving strategy kind of?
Yeah, I was doing tire save. That's like mostly what you need to do at this track. It eats tires like no tomorrow. I mean, even if you go in and you pit 2 laps later than everybody else, you just have such a tire advantage that you can just catch up easily. It's insane here.
And that was about your tire advantage that you had over Blair Holloman, actually. It was about a 2-lap tire advantage for a little while there. But yeah, it was very, very. It was fun to watch you work your way back up through the pack, and then you ended up with about a 3-second lead. Tell us, how would your strategy have changed, or what would you have done if the yellow had come out?
Don't left until I see God or the checkered flag. I mean, that's what I'm gonna do. I mean, I'm gonna fight to try to win. I know last week was about the same situation, so I was like, all right, it's either I go hard or I lose the race or I win the race. It goes either way. So if that would have happened, I would have just gone as hard as I could.
All right. Well, it looks like your your saving strategy worked out in the end. You got a great win here tonight. Congratulations. We got Old Atlanta next week. Are you looking forward to that?
Yeah, it's a good track for me. It's about the same as this, so we'll see how it goes. Hopefully the tires hold up. If not, then we'll figure out a strategy to try to win that race.
Excellent, excellent. Well, Scott Healy, anybody you'd like to thank or shout out to tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to thank you guys for bringing on a broadcast. My team, Team Conti, friends, family, my girlfriend, and everyone who's watching, every driver that's out there trying their heart out. So that's who I like to thank tonight.
All right. Thank you very much for your time, Scott, and have a great rest of your evening.
Thank you, you too, guys.
All righty. Take care. And that'll do it for tonight from Auto Club. Sheldon, your take on tonight's race?
Everybody got to say is, he may have only ran a limited schedule thus far, but you're really going to want to keep your eyes on that 64 machine anytime it's on track moving forward, because I think Kentucky was his first start over here, and was really strong then and incredibly strong tonight. Aside from that, man, just great race, awesome performance from all these drivers that put on a good show, lap after lap, and keep it all straight, and definitely looking forward to being here for Atlanta next week.
Yep, SSRL puts on a good show. It flew by for me, and I'm sure it flew by for you folks. If you enjoyed the show, let us know and participate in the YouTube chat next time around. We had a few people this time. It was nice to hear from you. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to close things here. We're going to close out things here from Grid Vision. So, from the entire Grid Vision team, we'd like to thank you for watching and participating in the chat. For more information on getting your lead broadcast or starting your career in broadcasting, hit us up on Facebook, X, or email us at info@gridvision.live. Congratulations again to Scott Healy for winning tonight's race from Auto Club. This has been Joe LaCastro, Sheldon Atkins, and Austin Darbyshire. We will see you next time on the grid.